Whether you're a family looking for walkable schools or just someone that wants to live close to shopping and dining yet be in a neighborhood setting, you might want to consider the Buckhead neighborhood of Garden Hills. And that's what I'm going to show you today. I'm going to give you a full walking tour, so stay tuned. Hey guys, my name is Molly and welcome back to my channel where I talk all things living here in the Atlanta area. And today we're going to be talking about Garden Hills. This is a beautiful Buckhead neighborhood. It's kind of central Buckhead, kind of on the south side. I don't know. I'll put it up on a map here so you can see exactly where this neighborhood is located. But it's not very far from all of the fun shopping here in the Buckhead area. Getting around town to get to Midtown, that takes about 15 minutes. Downtown is going to take you 20 minutes. And getting over to the airport, that could be about 35 minutes. But of course, add on probably 10 to 15 minutes if you are driving through those peak rush time hours. Now, Garden Hills is kind of wedged in between a couple of busy roads. It's in between Peachtree Road and Piedmont Road. So getting around town is pretty easy. You can get on one of those roads and be on your way. It's also pretty quick access over to Highway 400 or I-85 if you need highway access or you commute for work, that kind of thing. But what I love about Garden Hills is that you get a very historic, charming neighborhood, tree-lined streets. It's a very developed neighborhood. Now, if you like the neighborhood of Morningside, but you want to be closer into the Buckhead area, I always suggest Garden Hills as an alternative. It's obviously in the Buckhead area, and it has the same feel and vibe as a Morningside. Pristine lawns, the historic charm of these brick Tudors, brick traditional style homes. So it's just a really pretty area to walk around. Now, Garden Hills is somewhat walkable, I guess you could say, because just north of this neighborhood is the Buckhead Village area. So if you want to go grab something to eat, you can go up into the Buckhead Village area. If you don't know what that area is like, go watch it on my channel right here, but I'll try to pop in there a little bit later. But you can walk anywhere from a half a mile, it could take you up to a mile to get over to the Buckhead Village area, but you can, like I said, go to a restaurant there. It's a little bit more upscale, hoity-toity, but that is very nearby. Like inside this Garden Hills neighborhood, there's not like a coffee shop on the corner or anything like that, but you're not too far. You know, either hit up Starbucks there on Peachtree, or you can go get a fancy latte in one of the coffee places over in the Buckhead Village area. But you guys, I'm gonna keep on walking. This isn't my first time to do a tour of the Garden Hills area, but it's been a couple of years and I wanted to give you a little bit of an updated tour of this neighborhood. So I'm gonna walk down this lovely street here and talk about one thing that I absolutely love about this neighborhood. Now, you may hear some kids screaming behind me because they are having a ball here at the Garden Hills pool. This is a public pool. It's open for anybody. I bring my kids here. We love coming here because it's not usually too crowded and too busy. Although I think, you know, during the summertime, it's going to be crowded at some points, but it's easy to park to. And if you live in this neighborhood, it's very, very easy to walk to or bike to. Now, there are memberships that you can buy, and so then you can have dedicated membership swim hours, but they do swim teams and the community does different events and gatherings here. They've got this big green field that you can play soccer in. They've got a cute little playground on the other side of this pool. So, I mean, it's not the fanciest of pools, don't get me wrong, but it's very convenient, and not every neighborhood in Atlanta has a neighborhood pool in their neighborhood. So this is definitely an added bonus if you have kids or you are just a pool goer kind of like me. So there you go. Let me keep on going. We'll jump into more of the neighborhood. it is getting hot out here very, very quickly, so forgive me if I'm going to just be sweating this whole video, but I'm bringing all the information for you. And hey, if you are needing further help with your home search, just reach out to me. Do not be shy. You can contact me via text, email, give me a call. All my contact information is down in that comment section. Would love to see if I can help you out and find the perfect place to live here in the Atlanta area, or maybe Garden Hills. So, okay, let's talk about home prices here for a second. So if you're wanting to live here, what does it cost to live here? For a single family home, on average, you're going to be paying around $1.3 million, and that will give you roughly 4 bedrooms, 3 baths, and about 3,000 square feet. I would say on the lower end, you can probably still find something in the 800 to 900K price point. It's going to be smaller. It's going to be 1,500, 1,800 square feet. If you are looking on the larger side, you want something like 4,000, 5,000 square feet, you know, you could pay anywhere from a range of 1.4 up to 1.9. There's a few that have went over the 2 million, like $2.4 million mark. It really just kind of depends. But those are kind of your price ranges for single family homes. Now for a townhome, again, townhomes are really going to be kind of on the edge of this neighborhood. You can find older townhomes in the $300,000 range, but I would say in newer townhomes, you're going to be paying around $900,000. Now there's a newer complex called the Delma. I'll see if I can swing by there here later. Now those are newer construction, beautiful. It's like a European village feel. Those are going to set you back anywhere from 1.4 up to $2.7 million, just depends on that home. And for a condo, you know, there are a lot of high-rise condos and some older garden level style condos, again, on the edge of this neighborhood along Peachtree Road. I would say on average, a condo is going to be $556,000, but you can acquire some of those smaller garden style, older style of condos in the upper 200s. So there you go. Those are your home prices. I'm going to round the corner here and show you an example of a home kind of on the lower price point in this neighborhood. So I'm right on East Wesley Road, and one thing I will caution you is that if you find a home on East Wesley Road, there's a lot of cute homes on this road, to be honest with you. The one thing you need to know is that you are on a busy road. It doesn't feel like it right now because it's not, you know, high traffic time, but around 4 or 5 o'clock, this will be a lot busier because people use this to cut through from Piedmont over to Peachtree or vice versa. So just keep that in mind. But here's one home example I can show you. It is right behind me. This sold for $961,000. Actually went to a bidding war, went $66,000 over its list price. It's just under 1,900 square feet. It is a 3-bedroom, 2.5 bath. I would say, you know, it's kind of a typical older home. It has sectioned off rooms, but it's updated nicely. It has some designer touches with some wallpaper, some trendy light fixtures, and it has a very flat backyard. So that is something that is great. I will say there's quite a few yards in the Garden Hills area where you do get a nice flat backyard. There's other parts of Buckhead where you do not get that. It can be very sloping, but also on average, I would say you're getting about 0.3 acres of land. So you get a pretty decent sized lot here in the city. Now I am just walking down a typical street in the Garden Hills neighborhood, and one thing you're going to notice is that there are not a lot of sidewalks in this neighborhood, but I will say I don't feel unsafe walking on the street here if I want to get some exercise. Also, you're going to notice it's pretty quiet around here, and that is just another thing that it's very charming, quiet neighborhood setting. But you know, the MARTA is actually right on the edge of this neighborhood, but you don't really hear it that much unless you're kind of on Sharondale Drive. That is kind of like the closest road to the MARTA station. So that's something to just watch out for if you're looking for a home on Sharondale Road. You might hear the MARTA station. I'm actually not 100% positive on that, so don't take my word for it, but I'm just letting you know that street is the closest to the MARTA station. But it is very convenient if you need to hop on a MARTA. Another thing I will note is that Garden Hills is definitely hilly. It has a lot of windy, curvy streets. I think that gives a lot of its charm, but it's just something to take note of if you are a runner. Yeah, you're gonna get some hills in. Okay, so I'm actually walking down Sharondale right now to get to my next destination. And so I can report to you, I just heard a train in a MARTA. It's not that bad, to be honest with you. So, you know, it's something to be aware of. If you are a light sleeper, maybe you won't like that noise, but it is so faint, it wouldn't bother me. Something interesting about Sharondale is that there are a lot of ranch homes on this street, and that's kind of like the only street you'll find that. The rest of the streets have a lot more of that old character 1930s, 1940s charm. Now, something I want to remind you about the Garden Hills area, like many of these neighborhoods here in Atlanta, these are older homes, 1930s, 1940s homes. So they may look cute and charming on the outside, but on the inside, they still may need a lot of work. And you can pay a premium to get a home here that still needs a lot of fixing up to do. So just remember, these old homes, they could have small closets, they could have the laundry kind of in that unfinished basement area. My kids will call it like the dungeon area. It could have some old cast iron plumbing. Those are just some things that you're going to encounter with some of these old homes. And I've seen some really beautifully renovated homes, but there's some that still need a little work, and you can still pay $900,000 to $1 million. And depending on the lot size, you can even pay a little bit more than that. But you see this home right behind me here, this white home. I remember when this was listed and sold last year, it sold for just like $1.95 million. It looks kind of small on the outside, but it's over 4,000 square feet, beautifully renovated. I mean, it had all of the modern updates. It had like a scullery. I mean, it was a beautiful home like I want it. So anyway, just something to keep in mind, that some of these homes can have old home problems. So you need a budget for that, and just keep that in mind. Now, you may have seen some new homes that I flashed up here in my walking around in this neighborhood, but I will say there's not a lot of newer builds. It's primarily these older homes that have been renovated or need some renovation. Finding a new construction home in this neighborhood is a little bit harder to do, but the new construction that is popping up are usually those giant big homes. But let me come up the street here and I'll show you a nice, pretty, renovated $1.4 million home. Okay, so here's an example behind me, this beautiful brick traditional. It sold for $1.45 million. It's just under 3,000 square feet. It's a 4-bed, 3-bath. It had a renovated high-end kitchen with an open living concept, a couple different little living room den areas. It has a good blend of kind of like the old charm with modern updates, and it has a nice flat backyard, 0.31 acres. So there you go. That's kind of something more in the average price range that you will get here in the Garden Hills neighborhood. Okay, so next up, let me zoom over to where some of the schools are at, because there is the public elementary school right in this neighborhood. So if your dream has been to walk your kid to school, you can do that here in Garden Hills. As I am walking back to my car, you know, one thing Garden Hills does have are a lot of little green spaces. A lot of them are just kind of like walking paths, walking trails, like the one right here next to me. This is right across from the Garden Hills pool. It just kind of amazes me that, you know, we're in the middle of a city, but it doesn't feel like you are in a big, noisy city. It is very peaceful and relaxing, except with that garbage truck going by that kind of disturbs the peace, but that's only temporary. All right, so let's talk about schools here that are zoned to Garden Hills. So for elementary, it's going to be this elementary school right behind me. It's called the Garden Hills Elementary School. Middle school is going to be Sutton Middle School, and high school is North Atlanta High School. Ratings on these are pretty good. Now, one thing I will say about the Garden Hills, elementary school, it's a pretty small student population, like less than 500. So you're not going to have huge class sizes, which is really nice. It's a pretty diverse school, and it looks like they're doing some renovations in this building. I know it was an old building in need of some renovation, so that is getting done right now. And if you hear that big mechanical machine, that is right behind me at the neighboring school called the Atlanta International School. This is a massive campus. It houses K through 12. It is a private school. It's an international school, so a lot of families that come here from different countries like to put their kids in this international school. I forgot how many countries are represented in this school, but it is a lot. Now, if that is of interest to you, then, reach out. I kind of know someone that works here. He was a past client of mine, and I could probably, get you some more information. But yeah, the international school is right next to the public elementary school on the western side of this neighborhood. Now, I'm just going to skip along this road though, and remember I told you about some really luxury townhomes, newer construction that popped up? Well, that's just on the opposite side of this elementary school field, and guys, they are beautiful. Let me walk to them next. Now, welcome to Delmont. This is on Delmont Road. The subdivision is called Delmont. These are started to be built in 2023, 2024. I think they're working on their last phase here around the corner on Sheridan that will finish out this subdivision. But if you're looking for luxury townhomes or single family homes, I think most of these are actually single family homes, but they kind of live like a townhome because they are more vertical than horizontal. But these are really nice finishes inside. These are built by Hedgewood Homes. There's still some for sale. There are 32 units total. There is a small little community pool in here. Nothing huge to brag about, but there's something. The HOA is very low at $288 a month. Again, you're going to pay anywhere from like 1.4 on the low end up to 2.7. I'd say on average, expect to pay around $2 million for some of these, but they are beautiful finishes through and through. Now, the one catch I will say is that you are looking right across the street from the International School and the Garden Hills Elementary School. So you are going to get that carpool traffic. So I spoke to a couple that, they don't want to live near a school because of the carpool traffic. If that is you, well, then cross these off the list. So, and right around the corner, I mentioned there are some older townhome options. That is just right up the street here. And these will go in kind of like that low 300K price point. So you've got $2 million townhomes next to 300,000. But again, they're going to be older, small closets, that kind of thing. But the location is really nice. You're really close to Peachtree Road, so shopping right across the street. There's a Publix and just like a whole commercial area. Speaking of grocery stores, let me point those out real quick. So if you're looking for a grocery store, there are several that you can get to from Garden Hills. Primarily Publix. There's a couple off of Peachtree. There's a new Publix that replaced a Kroger off of Piedmont Road. There is a Trader Joe's. There's an Aldi's. There is a Whole Foods. And if you want a Target, there is one off of Piedmont Road that you could get to pretty easily as well. Now let me just go around the corner here and I will give you an example of a condo building. If you are wanting a high rise, well, there's a couple here in the neighborhood. Okay, so now I am on Peachtree Road, which is definitely going to be a different vibe from the main Garden Hills neighborhood. But I just wanted to point out, like on the edge of the Garden Hills neighborhood along Peachtree Road, you can find condo buildings. Like right behind me, I'm standing behind the gallery. It's a beautiful condominium. I would say price ranges anywhere from $600,000 to $800,000 for a 2-bedroom. They have really nice amenities. If you want to see a full tour of this building, I have one on my channel and go watch it there. But I also think this is a great option. Like, let's say you live in the neighborhood, you want your parents to live nearby. They don't really want a huge house. maybe a condo is an option for them. If that is the case, reach out to me. I would love to help you. But another thing to point out is right across the street, there is a Catholic church, and then there is also a farmer's market that happens here every Saturday. So this parking lot right there will turn into a farmer's market. It is very popular. And speaking of Catholic churches, I should also mention right around the corner here is a private Catholic school. So if you are looking for a private Catholic school for your kid, I believe it's K through 8th. Christ the King is a very popular school. I've got some friends that send their kids there and absolutely love it. Okay, let me duck back into the neighborhood and let me go over pros and cons of living here next. Now I'm making my way up north of the Garden Hills neighborhood. I'm going to make my way over to the Buckhead Village just to show you how close that is and what it feels and looks like. But as I am getting up to the northern end of the Garden Hills neighborhood, one thing I'll point out is as you get north, you're going to get a lot more newer construction. It's not going to feel quite as, you know, that old historic charming feel. It's just going to kind of feel like new construction. Really nice, beautiful homes, don't get me wrong, but it's not going to have quite as much charm, if you will. But let me go over the pros and cons while I am walking over to the Buckhead Village area. So on my pros list, so I would say one, you've got pretty charming homes. I mean, with a lot of character. I don't think anyone can deny that. Definitely this neighborhood has a neighborhood feel. They have a lot of community events, which I love. And it's pretty walkable. I mean, you can walk to the pool, you can walk to schools, you can walk over to the Buckhead Village. Again, you're not going to find like shops within the neighborhood, but on the outskirts, it's not too far away. So I would put that as a pro. Now on my cons list, not too many cons, to be honest with you. It's just a really beautiful neighborhood. But I would say on the cons list, you know, there are going to be a lot of older homes, which means older maintenance upkeep, so not everyone's favorite thing to do. And also it can just get a little expensive. I mean, even when you're buying a fixer-upper, sometimes you're paying a high price for a fixer-upper, and then you got to put in all the money to fix it up. So that is basically the only cons I can think of on this neighborhood. Now let me just keep walking here over to the Buckhead Village. If you live in Garden Hills and you want something to eat, you could walk there or drive, but I'm just going to walk over to the Buckhead Village area just to give you a little glimpse of what that feels like. And yeah, definitely some nice little restaurants and definitely high-end shopping over there. So this is Buckhead Village. Now, if you want to see a full tour of this neighborhood, just watch it on my channel like I mentioned earlier in my video. But yeah, there's some great restaurants. Yepa is very popular. There's a great coffee place back there. So this is only about, you know, a 9 to 15 minute walk depending on where you live in the Garden Hills area. It could be a little bit longer if you live on the southern tail of this neighborhood. But you guys, with that concludes my tour of the Garden Hills neighborhood. What did you think? I think it is just a lovely neighborhood. I personally love this neighborhood so much. If you are looking to move here, you need help with your home search, or reach out to me. Do not be shy. That is why I am here, to help you out. So my contact information is down in that comment section. But you guys, it has been a scorching hot day in the 90s. It's the middle of summer, so you know, I shouldn't expect anything less. But thanks for hanging with me. If you see me out in the wild, make sure you say hello. But now I'm going to go and cool off and get something cool to drink. So thanks for hanging with me. Until next time, you guys, I'll see you around the neighborhood.